and welcome to This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. On this week's presentation, we bring you highlights of Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa's activities for this past week, and of course, bring you greetings for the season. It is basically down to the last few days of 2024. It has been a very active year for the Ministry of Agriculture. Lots of achievements, lots of progress on all fronts as it relates to agricultural development across the board. Minister Mustafa will be holding his end-of-year press conference and will be bringing to the fore all of the ministry's achievements over this past year and how our farmers have been empowered in every part of the country. From the hinterland regions, riverine communities, wherever farming is ongoing, Minister Mustafa has been there, and the government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has been pouring resources into infrastructural development, technical development, human resource development on all fronts. And so this progress in agricultural development will continue into 2025. I'm excited at some of the plans I'm hearing about. Again, the momentum will be accelerating as we go forward. You know, President Dr. Irfaan Ali has envisioned a Guyana by 2030 that will be leaps and bounds ahead of where we are today. So it's great to be part of the journey, and we're taking you along with us on this journey to agricultural excellence, of becoming the food basket of the Caribbean, of realizing that 25 by 2025 dream, that vision, by the end of 2025. And so that's the focus. We will be back after these messages. Are you planning to bring your furry friends into Guyana? The Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, is there to help. To import cats and dogs, follow these steps. Request and complete the import permit application form. Submit health and vaccination records. GLDA will assess and grant the import permit considering various factors like the type and species of animal, disease status of the country, and vaccination status of the animal. Your permit will be prepared and available for collection within 3 working days. Remember, your pets must be inspected upon arrival to ensure they meet all health requirements. Import permits are valid for 3 months and are for single entry only. For more details, contact GLDA at 220-6557 or email glda1910@gmail.com. GLDA, ensuring the safe and healthy importation of your pets. Welcome to the Guyana Rice Development Board. We ensure the quality and standards of rice for both export and local sales. Our quality control department is responsible for certifying paddy, rice, and rice byproducts for export and grading rice for local sales. We perform thorough inspections, sampling, grading, loading, and fumigation to ensure top quality. Training and licensing are also provided for individuals to grade paddy and rice. Before exporting, an exporter must submit a contract to the board for approval. The contract will be monitored for payment terms, quality, quantity, and necessary documents. Once approved, a shipping bill or C-72 form is requested and inspections are conducted at various stages, including drug enforcement and goods examination. For more details, contact our Quality Control Department at 220-4732, extension 225 or 226. GRDB, ensuring the highest standards in rice production. A message from the GRDB, Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome to the Guyana Fisheries Department, your partner in sustainable fishing and aquaculture development. Whether you're a local fisherman, seafood processor, or an exporter, we're here to help you navigate the waters of the fishing industry. Need to register or license your fishing boat? Simply uplift the registration form from our legal and inspectorate unit. Fill it out and submit it. Remember, only Guyanese can apply for artisanal vessel licenses. Are you a small-scale seafood processor? Pick up an application to operate a seafood processing establishment from us and submit it along with essential documents such as land use clearance, building plans, and health certificates. For export and import licenses, gather your purchase receipts, VPHU certificates, customs forms, and other necessary documents. Our legal and inspectorate unit is ready to assist you. Traveling with fish? Visit us with your flight itinerary and passport for a fish pass. For posting dried products, bring them in for inspection with a form of identification. Looking for technical assistance in aquaculture? Then reach out to the Sachi-Dia-Saw Aquaculture Station for expert guidance on your aquaculture projects. We also offer technical assistance on processing plants for products like smoked and salted fish. Contact our legal and inspectorate unit for more information. The Guyana Fisheries Department, committed to supporting the fishing community and promoting sustainable practices. For more details, contact us today. We begin this week's edition with highlights of Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa's visit to the Meadowbank Wharf, which is currently benefiting from a major upgrade to facilities there. These upgrades include a new wharf for use by fishing boats for loading and unloading, a new shed under which vendors will ply their trade in comfort, improved drainage, and more. The visit by Minister Mustafa and officials of his ministry was to afford him a first-hand look at the progress being made on those upgrades. Early this year, the Meadowbank Wharf had benefited from the first phase of upgrades, which included better lighting, washroom facilities, and the establishment of a police outpost. During his visit to the wharf this week, the Agriculture Minister interacted with vendors and customers alike, sharing with them government's plans for the facility and the status of the ongoing works. Vendors were loud in their praise of government for the improvements to the popular Meadowbank Wharf, expressing satisfaction at the improvements already being enjoyed. Speaking to reporters at the end of his tour, Minister Mustafa said he was satisfied at the progress of the works, indicating that since the works have begun, there has been an influx of new vendors, necessitating additional accommodation.
These were works committed and promised by His Excellency the President. I am happy to note that we are here now, and over 80% of the work has been completed. This is at a cost of over $150 million. This morning, the fisher folks expressed their appreciation and satisfaction to the President, to the government. They said for the first time for the longest while, they are seeing a lot of work being executed here. They are seeing that the entire aesthetic of this place is changing, and they welcome that. I'm hoping to do some additional work here, and by the end of January, or just before the end of January, we can commission this wharf. I can bring the President back again here. But this shows our commitment to the different stakeholders in the country, not only the Meadowbank Wharf, but right across the country, different areas, over 200 landing sites, fishing landing sites we have rehabilitated. We have put in new sheds, we have built washroom facilities, we have put in lighting facilities, we have made small wharfs, the major wharfs, like places like Rossignol, the Edwards, here, now, on Upper Quarantine number 79. All those areas we are enhancing, and this here will bring much relief to the fisher folks in our country. You know that various categories or different stakeholders in the agriculture sector, we are working to improve their lot. And the fishing sector is one of the important sectors for us. We know a number of Guyanese are earning their living in this sector. That is why we are enhancing it. And the President himself has visited a number of these fishing sites and landing sites, and he has instructed that work being carried out and get these done. So I'm happy that the fishermen and the fisher folks are happy with the work that we are doing. I'm hoping in another 2-3 weeks we can complete the work here and commission this.
After waiting nearly 10 years, approximately 25 small rice farmers and millers of Region 2 have finally received their outstanding payments for paddy supplied to the previous administration under the failed rice deal with Panama. The checks were distributed to the farmers during a visit to Region 2 Saturday at the Regional Democratic Council boardroom. Speaking to the farmers, Minister Mustafa expressed his regret at the delay in payments to the farmers, noting that it was the mismanagement of the previous administration that resulted in the failure of both the Petro-Caribe deal with Venezuela and later the Panama rice deal, the latter requiring the PPPC government's concentrated effort to force the Panamanian government to pay the GRDB for the outstanding payments.
I remember vividly that when I became Minister of Agriculture, a number of farmers would have met with me on two different issues. One issue was payment for paddy or rice that was supplied to Panama. Rice that was supplied to Panama. And another one was paddy that was purchased to supply to Venezuela. Now you all remember when we were in government prior to 2015, when the PPP Civic was in government, we signed both contracts. We signed a contract with Panama to supply rice there, and a number of farmers, through the millers, were supplying rice to Panama. And then we had the Petro-Caribe deal, where Guyana used to supply paddy and rice to Venezuela. Now, in 2015, we came out of government. After the election, we went out of government, and the AP and UEFC went in government. And what they did, what we saw, they lost all two markets. They lost the Panama market, they lost the Petro-Caribe market. And they were making all kinds of acquisitions about corruption, but whilst they were doing that, the farmers were the person who were suffering. And then, you all remember when they went into government, they said that in 21 days, in 100 days, they had the 21 points, which they say they will implement. Up to now, none never implement. Then they said that they concluded that rice is a private business, and they can't invest in rice, that is your personal business. But we were in opposition at that time, and many farmers and rice millers would have met with the vice president, who is the vice president now, then the opposition leader, with our presidential candidate who is president now, with myself and a number of other leaders of the party. And we said when we get back in government, we'll work to see how we will help the farmers. Now they lost the market in Panama. And although rice was supplied to Panama, they didn't conclude the deal to get the farmers to receive their money. They left the farmers on their own in Panama. $1.5 billion was owed to the farmers and the millers from Guyana, from Panama. And then Arnold is here, Arnold. Arnold, how many times he and the vice come and meet myself, AG, Ashley, Minister of Finance, and the VP. And we promised them we will work together. And in the Petro-Caribe deal, over $450 million was due to the farmers. Imagine that. Small farmers. We got 19 farmers here today. 19 farmers who were denied that money. How many years? 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago. Since when? Since 2015. 9 years ago. Imagine that. That is a criminal. Let me be very frank. And today, I want to say, under your government, the PPP Civic government, we have already paid, get the money from Panama, and we paid that to the farmers and the millers of $1.5 billion that APNU never had and never tried to get. And today is another promise being fulfilled, that we will pay out $437 million to the small farmers and the rice millers. So comrades, you know why I'm making these points? These points is very important for us. Sometimes, in the midst of our emotion, we just make things like the government cares nothing for us. But this government, this PPP government, ensure that we take care of every citizen of our country.
A few farmers and millers expressed their gratitude at receiving the long outstanding payment.
I'm Talabani Sukai. This one is with us since 2015. And I'm very happy, that it's finally been paid. Although, what it would have done in 2015, it just can't do that now. So it would be nice if we had some interest on it, right? But thanks to the government for getting this finalized, and farmers could get their money. Thank you.
I'm so happy to collect my money after 10 years. Yeah.
What will it do for you now?
Well, actually, it's going to do something. It's going to add something to my life and for my family.
I'm Wazir Hussein from Dry Shore Esquivel Coast, and I'm so thankful for the government that for 9 years we wait on this payment, and we finally get this thing over. And we're so thankful for the minister and the government and GRDB to help us to achieve back this finance.
Also this past week, Minister Mustafa visited the Ifluct estate for the start of disbursement of cash grants to the sugar workers at that estate. The Agriculture Minister spearheaded the distribution to more than 1,300 workers who were beneficiaries of the grant. In a brief address to the workers before the start of the distribution, Minister Mustafa said the exercise represents the fulfillment of another commitment made by the PPPC government to improve the lives and spending power of citizens. He stressed that while Gaisuco has not realized the targets set, government remains committed to ensuring the sector is restored to profitability. The Agriculture Minister was also out front at his own ministry for the handing over of the one-off cash grant checks in the boardroom of the ministry. In brief remarks, Minister Mustafa thanked the staff for their hard work and dedication over the years. Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Madan Lal Ramraj, and Permanent Secretary Acting Dacia Ferguson were also on hand for the exercise. On This Week in Agriculture, we now bring you a feature on government's Model Farm Initiative. The PPPC government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has been making substantial investments in the other crops sector, ensuring climate-smart agricultural technologies are effectively transferred to the farming community. A testament to these efforts is the creation of model farms across various farming districts. These farms combine crop and livestock production managed by the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, NARI. The model farms have small livestock structures and larger crop sections. It uses shaded and open field conditions, cultivating crops on lands ranging from a quarter acre to 1 acre, depending on the region. These farms promote agricultural development by facilitating technology adoption and sharing vital agricultural knowledge with farmers, school children, and the general public. Mr. Krishna Sulal is the regional coordinator for the Model Farm Initiative.
Our main role and objective of the Model Farm is to promote and support agriculture development by facilitating the adoption of new technologies to farmers, school children, and the general public. How we do this is by setting up shade house to combat both adaptation and mitigation, to mitigate the effects of climate change. And we establish raised bed, as you can see, raised bed, very comfortable to work. And also we have raised bed on the ground also, at the lower level. So we establish specific crops such as celery, bell peppers, carrots. So at the model farm we grow exotic crops such as cauliflower, broccoli, dragon fruit. And you know the price for dragon fruit and cauliflower and broccoli. Dragon fruit would go as much as 6 to 1,000 per pound. The broccoli and cauliflower 6 to 1,200 per pound. And here farmers actually observe and they see the size of the fruit and the frequency of the harvesting, and which they are impressed, and we are hoping for them to expand and start dragon fruit, cauliflower, and broccoli production.
These farms promote agricultural development by facilitating technology adoption and sharing vital agricultural knowledge with farmers, school children, and the general public.
What we do is that we involve in several training sessions with farmers, and we also showcase Farmers Field School where farmers have an opportunity to observe both from land preparation right down to harvesting. And we target specific disease, for example in celery, the cercospore leaf spot and the damping off, which was a major problem to farmers. And here farmers had an opportunity to come and observe and witness some of our agronomic practices, which they adopt. And we have evidence to show that some farmers have some real good crops at present. We also target some special varieties, for example the Scotch bonnet and the Moruga hot pepper, and these crops are very in large demand. And we also have the seasoning pepper. So here farmers also, it's a new crop, so farmers would come and observe and see how they bear, the size of the fruit. And we are hoping to have farmers to grow some more Scotch bonnet and blue star pepper.
Training sessions have covered mulching, composting, pest management, and cultivating high-value crops like broccoli, cauliflower, and blue star peppers. Over 700 farmers and 500 school children have benefited. The model farm showcases smart farming setups, including shade houses with UV plastic, semi-shade houses with black nets, and open fields. Farmers observe growth differences in various conditions, enabling them to adopt best practices. Another innovation that is gaining traction is the vermicomposting, that is, utilizing earthworms to break down cow and chicken mold into vermicompost. Mr. Silal explains.
So here is our vermicomposting section, where we utilize cow pen manure from the livestock section of the farm, and we incorporate it in this box here. You could even use it on half barrels or on the ground, fully enclosed. So the process is very simple. Here in this size of the box, we use 10 bags of cow pen manure, and we put in about 4 pounds of vermicomposting worms, and we just apply water on it daily, and these worms would act and they would break down this through their regurgitation process, and after 4 months these fully decomposed, ready to use on the farm. And we have another bin where we would restock with pen manure, and we also incorporate some sheep and goat dung on it, and this is enough for use to have a very rich vermicompost.
Mr. Anthony Sinarine is a farmer and also a 10-day worker at the Region 5 model farm. He says he has cultivated the Blue Star sweet pepper on his farm and applied the knowledge he acquired working on the model farm.
As you can see, these are the Blue Star peppers which I saw on the model farm there, and I decided to apply this on my garden, and it was successful. I have some advice from Mr. Silal, which I tried, and it was very successful planting these. Well, one of these plants here, I estimate one of these plants is like 20 pounds maximum picking, 2 months from small. It's take like 2 months before harvesting time. The marketing price is 300 a pound. If you sell it on the market, you will gain like a 500 or 600 a pound. And you can see you can gain gain a little money.
So far, model farms have been established in regions 2, 5, 6, and 10. Each farm adapts to the region's unique soil type. In Region 10, soil was engineered with riverbed sand, topsoil, and chicken manure, producing thriving crops like chives. In Region 2, they're growing peppers and broccoli with excellent results. The impact of these model farms has been remarkable. Local and international stakeholders, including Florida University representatives, have recognized these efforts. Through strategic investments, training, and innovation, the PPPC government is empowering Guyana's farmers for a sustainable agricultural future. A message from the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Government of Guyana. The GRDB's Rice Research Station at Burma is reminding farmers that the GRDB's new high-yielding varieties' yield potential is 7 to 8 tons per hectare or 45 to 55 bags per acre. However, because the variety is a heavy feeder and its panicles produce up to 250 grains or more, there is constant need for adequate nutrition at every stage of the growing cycle. It is important to note that together with adequate nutrition for the plants, there is vital need to reduce competition for those vital nutrients through the eradication of competing weeds, especially red rice. The recommended approach to weed management is an integrated one that begins at land preparation. Once proper weed management is realized, farmers should fertilize as follows. The application of TSP at a rate of 50 to 75 pounds per acre at dry land preparation or by broadcasting at 14 to 21 days after sowing. Urea at a rate of 1.5 to 2 bags per acre, split into 2 applications at 18 to 21 and at 40 to 45 days. A third dose at 60 days after sowing is optional. MOP at a rate of 50 to 75 pounds per acre in 2 equal splits at land preparation or broadcasted at 14 to 21 days and then at 40 to 42 days. Boron. Apply half pint per acre in 2 equal splits. That's a quarter pint at 21 to 25 days and a quarter pint per acre at 45 to 50 days after sowing. In cases where a soil test report is available, stick to the recommendations. NPK fertilizers can be applied at a rate of 220 pounds per acre at dry land preparation or 14 to 21 days after sowing as a replacement for TSP and MOP. A message from the GRDB Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome to the Guyana Fisheries Department, your partner in sustainable fishing and aquaculture development. Whether you're a local fisherman, seafood processor, or an exporter, we're here to help you navigate the waters of the fishing industry. Need to register or license your fishing boat? Simply uplift the registration form from our legal and inspectorate unit. Fill it out and submit it. Remember, only Guyanese can apply for artisanal vessel licenses. Are you a small-scale seafood processor? Pick up an application to operate a seafood processing establishment from us and submit it along with essential documents such as land use clearance, building plans, and health certificates. For export and import licenses, gather your purchase receipts, VPHU certificates, customs forms, and other necessary documents. Our legal and inspectorate unit is ready to assist you. Traveling with fish? Visit us with your flight itinerary and passport for a fish pass. For posting dried products, bring them in for inspection with a form of identification. Looking for technical assistance in aquaculture? Then reach out to the Sachi-Dia-Saw Aquaculture Station for expert guidance on your aquaculture projects. We also offer technical assistance on processing plants for products like smoked and salted fish. Contact our legal and inspectorate unit for more information. The Guyana Fisheries Department, committed to supporting the fishing community and promoting sustainable practices. For more details, contact us today. Well, that's all the time we have on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. Until next time then, I want to wish you all the best as you celebrate the arrival of the new year. Do so responsibly, don't drink and drive, and remember, don't fight and kill each other. Until next time then, be good to yourselves and to each other.